So we're going to think for a minute about the cultural triangle and meetings. And when I say meetings, I'm talking about times when we get together to make sense of things we need to decide or how we are going to go about ministry. So if you haven't seen the Cultural Triangle video, I encourage you to see that. As a quick reminder, we have a triangle in which different kinds of emphases in cultures are highlighted, and so we have some among us who are more expressive people. We have some of us who are more analytical people. And we have some among us who are more reflective people. And so the question is, if we're going to love each other in who we are, we want to make sense of, when we come together for some sort of meeting, what do we do for each other? How do we make space for each other? And so as we've had conversation about this, we're learning, and some things that we've begun to understand, much more to learn. But some things that we've begun to understand is that for expressive people, no surprise that in a meeting, they want to be able to express themselves. And so part of that is that expressive people need room to be emotional. That they may be passionate about what they're talking about or concerned about how things are, and they want to be able to express that. And they may overstate things. And so to make room for an expressive person, we need to leave room for them to be passionate about something and to say something in a way that, well, it doesn't perfectly make sense exactly as said, but it's the passion that they're expressing. And so to love an expressive person, we need to give them space to state things strongly, to express their passion and their emotion. For analytical people in meetings, an important thing that they want to have access to is access to data. They want to be able to talk about why is something a good idea, right? So they want to engage in analysis. And they want the space to be able to debate, to be able to say, well, is that the best conclusion? Is that the best direction? And so because of this, there's an inclination toward having an agenda and sticking to it and not wandering off on different things. Let's keep to what we've agreed is the right thing for us to focus on now. For reflective people, it seems that, again, it's very helpful to have an agenda, but for a different reason. In particular, reflective people tend to want more time. They want time before the meeting to be able to think about things, to anticipate things. They want time during the meeting to be able to think, and they want time after the meeting to be able to come back to issues that they didn't have time to process in the time. For reflective people, there needs to be a more intentional effort to give them space to think or to speak. So that it's a helpful thing in this to see reflective people being on the opposite side of the triangle from the combination of expressive and analytical people. And so people who tend to be expressive and analytical, they've come to conclusions quickly and they express them, and it's based on the data. And so then reflective people often feel that there's not much space to speak. And so we need to be intentional about giving space to speak. And reflective people may also express and want to see a care for people and not just a care for the data and the analysis. And so as in worship, when we come together for a meeting, we recognize there will be an important sense of healthy discomfort. That is, that there are ways in which we meet that are different from what different people would choose in the whole meeting. Our key reason for doing this is to show hospitality, to create space for others to engage in a way that fits them. And a wonderful thing that happens is that then this enriches our engagement. That we discover that There are things that each of these groups bring to the table that if we create space for them to be able to do that, we are better off because of it. And so we continue to explore ways in which the cultural triangle helps us know how to engage as a church together better.